Now let us go through the characteristics of James Bond as it is portrayed in the films. Number one, James Bond is obviously intelligent. When he speaks like an intelligent person. His words are measured and always to the point and make sense. He's cunning. When you see James Bond in action, it might seem as if he just rushed into things, but it depends on the situation. James Bond is very cunning. He knows every trick in the book to ensure that he puts himself in danger, but he makes sure that he don't get killed. He would play around with the enemy like a cat with a mouse, giving them leeway just to make sure he entangles them properly in the rope. James Bond is also sound of mind. He don't act rash, he don't do stupid things just for doing it. And as I said before, everything is measured. He don't go crazy when he goes after the villains. Oh, in some cases he did. He has no psychological defects. Even though M1 said he went mad. Then he's arrogant. And that you can see especially in his actions towards the villains, towards other people, especially towards women. And that comes to the point also that James Bond is a womanizer. You can see it how he plays with women in the films. When you look at James Bond as a person, his physicality, you can see why it is like that. Number one, he was a naval officer. Number two, he had training as a secret agent. He had training in using weapons. He's muscular. He's athletic. He has martial arts skills, which means he was trained in the martial arts. And then, obviously, his military skills. That's why he's comfortable with guns. That's why he is comfortable with arming bombs and disarming bombs. And that also tells you why he is so fit. That is his physical characteristics. Then you can also see what his hobbies are. Number one, he loves expensive drinks. He drinks champagne from the Champagne area in France. He drinks his martini shaken and not stirred. He likes to eat expensive foods, caviar, things like that. Then, he's also an adrenaline junkie. He loves fast cars. The faster, the better. And then, also, he likes to climb mountains, it seems. Because in one film, you see him jump off a mountain with a parachute, of course. He's a good swimmer. You saw him many times underwater in a diving suit, especially when he went to the operational submarine of theirs. You can see it. It's not told that he can do those things. It's not told in the dialogue, even sometimes in the dialogue. When an opposite agent is asked if they know James Bond, they would name some of these characteristics of James Bond. But most of the time you are shown it. They don't tell it to you through the dialogue. James Bond's appearance. Did you ever see him dirty? Even after a fight. He would just dust himself off, but his clothes would always look fresh and ironed. His jackets, his pants, always neat. So James Bond is always well dressed. James Bond always look handsome. No matter what type of clothes he is wearing. And then he's always formal. Always formal. Even in an informal situation, he always looks formal. So you can see, through these characteristics of James Bond, you can see why he acts in a certain way, why he do things in a certain way, why he speaks in a certain way in the films. You won't hear James Bond speak like the average Joe. Never. His words are always formal, measured. When he walks, his stride is measured. It's always measured. Even if he's in a hurry, even if he's following the henchman. So, disarming bombs in the films, driving fast cars, climbing mountains, swimming in the ocean underwater, all those things he can do because it's part of his profile or his characteristics. It would be good for aspiring writers, aspiring filmmakers, amateur writers and filmmakers to follow these guidelines, especially when it comes to the characters. And drawing up such a profile or characteristics of characters would help the characters to be different from one another in the stories, in their films. That distinction is very, very, very important. That's why I said, start with yourself. Look at what type of person you are. Look at what type of clothes you wear and why you wear those clothes. Are your shoes always clean? Do you act nicely towards women or towards girls? Do you speak intelligently or do you speak average slang? Those are the things you must look at. Your physical appearance, your body build. Write down the characteristics of yourself and you will be able to write down the characteristics of your characters. And then you will write those characters in your story according to those characteristics. If it's a girl that don't care about herself, you will see it in the clothes she wears, in the way she acts, in the way she speaks on screen, and not having it told about her through the dialogue. Show and not tell. That is very, very important.